Elliot. I thought the video was going to be more clear about this. In order to have more consistency, we need to have better control in terms of the results based on the experience that people are having. So there are some metrics that tell us the story. For example, CTR is telling us how relevant the keyword is in comparison to the ad. So people are searching, for example, variations of luxury homes Miami, in Miami, on Miami, and so forth. And on average, we are getting a 3% conversion rate, which is huge. Like an average of 1% conversion rate is pretty okay. 3% is huge for this specific case. CTR is not the best. Best would be 5%, but 3.9, meaning 4, is quite good. Below 1%, it's bad. Above 1% is starting to be average. 5% is excellent and above, right? So what this means is that in relationship to the keyword, the ad is excellent. There's nothing to improve per se. I mean, there's always something to tweak and change, but talking about the relationship between the ad and the keyword, we are golden. We are having the highest score that we can have. However, in terms of the landing page experience, it's below average. And one of the ways that you do this is with having content, real content, not just mentioning luxury homes, but doing paragraphs, doing content about it. Think about what you would like to get in terms of information. That would be a good bar to set to create paragraphs and content about it. And the more we enter into the rest of this year, the higher the expectancy is, because these days Gemini, ChatGPT, and so forth are much more prevalent, and they qualify not only the website but the social content. And in case of Gemini, this means YouTube, Google My Business, reviews. That will be one side. ChatGPT, of course, enters into Instagram, Facebook, and if it says X, TikTok, and so forth, right? So we are missing in all of those fronts just by not having any social contact, any social options at all. It's blank. Or LinkedIn even, right? So that's one thing, a very important thing to change. The other is, we provided an example that this, even though it works in terms of how speed it is, it looks old and old-fashioned. As you can see, it's the video behind, it's not great. All of this looks very old-fashioned. We shared several examples, and even your example of the Millennium one showed a total different approach, right? So changing the website, it's paramount if you want to have more control on how often people enter here and actually completes this option, right? The request, pricing, and floor plans. That's the only way to solve consistency, to improve the website and to improve social content. To improve the website, copying others like Millennium, like Sergeant is paramount. It is how they control consistency and success. And one of the most important factors with that is to having pictures of the people involved. That provides transparency, and it's extremely important. Like from 1 to 10, it would be a 12. It's out of the scale of how important it is. The difference between a website that has people behind it and has this, like these things, the difference between those two things is huge. Like this doesn't transmit anything. This is something that you can pay and get, and it doesn't really say anything specifically, because if you click here what this means, it doesn't mean anything. Usually people put as seen as, and that's because you pay an X amount of money. I think it's between 500 and 2000 to get articles and get in these papers. Usually that's the case. But they don't really mean anything compared to having photos of who are the person behind these scenes. Like real estate, as well as car salesmen, they are filled with lack of transparency, lack of accountability, people all over the place trying to get rich quickly and trying to sell you something, right? So the moment you see the picture, you're like, okay, I'm talking to him. There's like accountability, there's transparency. Like I can click on this guy and I can see his LinkedIn and I can see his social media. And in this case, I would talk to Camilo, right? In the case of Cipriani, like I'm not going to really talk to him, but Cipriani has a brand behind it. So in order to get that, it's important to provide, like, who am I talking to? What is this? Why should I complete something for someone to sell me something that costs 2 million? Like, all of these questions need to be answered, and it can only be answered with a good presentation on the website. And the website looks outdated and there's no transparency. Changing those two things will improve dramatically your chances of a high amount of good leads. The other is, of course, moving away from only Google search and entering into also using Bing, and especially Bing display, which has some unique capacities to do a very professional targeting. So what we can offer you is to create the ads ourselves. We charge 100 per ad because we need to do research. It's not only doing the ad itself, and that's for image ads. For video ads, they depend on the complexity of them. That's one thing. The other is that we can take into consideration creating a website. However, I understand that you have a good team to do so. It's just that, to my understanding, they are not convinced, or you are not convinced, that the website needs to change. But the numbers are telling you that conversion rate is not that bad, like percentage-wise of the clicks, because of what we're spending. The bad thing is the landing page experience, and in order to get a higher conversion rate, we need a better website. Also, most of the keywords have below 100 in cost, and this is talking about from April to these days, right? In the last 7 days, we have spent 300 and we got one lead. So it has been a bad week compared to before, but there's little that we can do to control it. We can put more money, the CTR is better than before, the cost per click is more stable than before. But in order to get a higher consistency on leads, we need to improve website, transparency, social media. Those three things are very, very big.